Hey guys, I'm Hayden. Welcome back to Fitness Tested. Today I'm going to be talking about the brand new ASICS KAYANO 33. So what's the big deal about the new KAYANO 33? So the KAYANO 32 actually, they had a 40 guidance system throughout the shoe. And I would say they kind of perfected this with the 32. I thought it did really well. And in the 33, they did away with it. So they replaced the 40 guidance system with a fluid support dual midsole kind of compound that is supposed to serve as the stability aspect in this shoe. So before I get into the kind of stability system that this guy's got, let's get into the stats of it. So it's 10.5 ounces for a men's 10. It's a pretty heavy shoe. It's going to be 38 millimeters in the heel and 30 in the forefoot, giving it an 8 millimeter drop. The KAYANO 32, the older model, had one slab of foam or one level of foam throughout the whole shoe. The 33 has two levels of foam. It's a dual foam setup. On the bottom, it has FF Blast Plus, which is kind of their denser, firmer, more kind of supportive foam. And on top, it has their FF Blast Max, which is what's used in like the Nova Blast. It's kind of quicker, a softer, a more bouncier foam. Along with that, they've also retained their kind of little pocket of pure gel back here in the heel. That's to just aid with like your heel landings back in here, make it a little more supportive back in this area. They've had this in previous versions, so they kept this pure gel back in here. So the kind of bottom of the shoe is a little interesting, looks a little weird. The AHAR Plus kind of outsole is going to be on the kind of places that you're going to hit most, kind of in here and like the higher wear areas. And then the ASICS grip is going to be kind of throughout. It's going to be kind of a softer outsole. It's going to be kind of more bouncy. Still going to be grippy, but this AHAR Plus outsole is kind of going to be on the places where you're hitting most to give you more cushion and I would say support. It's gonna be more durable. There's just gonna be more there. Obviously it's gonna make the shoe heavier, but that's what comes with it. And then the ASICS grip is everything else. That's kind of your normal outsole. The KAYANO 33 also comes at $170. I would say that's pretty much in the price range for a max cushion stability shoe. I don't think that's really that crazy. Obviously this is gonna be on the upper end of your kind of everyday trainers nowadays. They're about 140 to, I'd say about 170. So it's on the upper end, but I think for a max cushion stability shoe, you're just gonna have to pay for kind of the more aspects of it. So I think that's pretty right on. So this kind of fluid support system does some interesting stuff. So it uses this dual foam system to create these geometric foam sidewalls to kind of cradle your foot and your midfoot kind of in the shoe. So it's gonna prevent you when you're overpronating, it's gonna kind of keep you more level. When you're supinating, it's gonna, again, keep you more kind of naturally in the right area to kind of keep your hips, everything aligned. It's much more natural than a posting, which is kind of gonna force your gait to be normal. Sometimes that can almost be too forceful and cause more problems. So this kind of dual foam setup is made to give you a stability aspect that's much more natural and kind of align your gait in a much more natural feeling way. I will say if you are like a heavy overpronator or supinator, you may need a posting. Sometimes these kind of dual foam setups can't do as much as something with a traditional posting or like a Hoka J-frame type deal. So that's something to take into account. I do really like the FF Blast Plus on the bottom. I think it is very firm. Something that I really noticed when I was running in it is you would think that the FF Blast Max on the top would like give you kind of a little pop. It doesn't at all. I wouldn't say this thing feels like a brick, but this thing is very slow. When you try to pick up in it, it feels like it's fighting you back. The FF Blast Plus, which is kind of the firmer foam on the bottom, takes a lot of energy return away from that top foam. I think that's actually a good thing in this situation. I think you need it to be firmer because for that stability aspect, if you are overprotating or supinating, you need that kind of correction with the firmer foam setup. So I do like how it's kind of built like that, but just keep in mind that like the shoe isn't made to run fast. Like this guy is an easy, slow jogger. It's very comfortable, very supportive ride, but you're not gonna be able to pick up in it. But that's just what the shoe's made for. So as I was saying before, it's obviously gonna be a heavier shoe. It's not gonna be made for picking up. This thing's a tank. But if you really do kind of need that extra support on the outside and the inside of your shoes to kind of keep you aligned, I think this guy is perfect. I will say one negative about this is the upper it keeps you in very well. It's very supportive, but man, it soaks up sweat like a sponge, like no other. This thing, when I was sweating in it, it got pretty heavy on me. That's just like the give or take with these uppers is like if you have an upper that's gonna be more accommodating and gonna kind of hold you in better, which for a shoe like this, I like, it's just gonna soak up more water and be like a sponge. That's just how it is. Overall, this thing is a beast. This is like a Yukon XL right here. This isn't your Ferrari. This is a shoe that's gonna be made for your everyday kind of easy miles. It's gonna give you some extra stability support in there without forcing anything. I'm really curious to see if this kind of dual foam setup, how people like it, and if other brands, I know a few other brands have started to do this, but if this becomes more mainstream and it goes to these dual foam setups away from these postings. I know for the postings, obviously some people need them, but a lot of times, like sometimes they poke into people's arches or they cause unnatural movements that end up messing their gait even more and their hips become more aligned. So I'm curious to see if maybe we see more of these setups as we go away from postings. We'll see. I'm excited to keep running in the shoe, seeing what I think of it. I'm excited to keep hearing reviews because the stability system is very interesting, and I think that this technology there's room for it on the market. I think there's a market for this. So I'm curious to see what people keep thinking of the shoe. So today you guys learned all about the new ASICS GEL-KAYANO 33. I invite you guys to go to the Fitness Sports YouTube page and check out our other videos. I'm Hayden. This was Fitness Tested. Thank you guys for watching.